I know what you're thinking. Dating apps are rigged against guys like us. Because if you're under 5'9", it can feel impossible to get matches, let alone real dates. Am I right? Trust me, for my first 5 months of the dating apps, I felt the exact same way and nothing was working. But then I stopped blaming my height and I started changing my strategy. Once I made those changes, I went from 0 matches to 2 to 3 dates lined up every single weekend. So in today's video, I'm gonna break down the A of the ACE framework, the exact system that helped me go from invincible to irresistible. And if you copy what I'm about to show you, I promise you that you'll never say dating apps are rigged again. Let's jump right into it. Okay, guys, so we need 3 main components that you need to get more matches. That's ultimately going to lead to more hot dates. And like I said, we're just going to talk about the A of the ACE framework in today's video, and I'll talk about the C and the E on another video later on. The A is basically going to stand for attract with positioning. And essentially what this means is we want to make your profile pop, and I'll show you how to do that in just 1 minute because there's so many girls on Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, whatever dating app you're on, and we want them to stop the scroll and to get your profile to really pop for them. Now, the very first thing you need to know before we really dive into this is the best marketer, guys, always wins. Whether it's like business, real estate, dating profiles, so whatever you're referring to, the best marketer always wins, and you are basically marketing yourself on these dating apps. Now, think of this analogy right here, and it will kind of tie it full circle to your dating app. Think if you had like the best pizza shop, like you make the best pizza, you know that no one in town makes better pizza than you. Well, what's going to happen though, if you're on, like, let's say a crappy location, like you're buried in the corner, no one even knows you exist, even though you have the best pizza, you're in a bad location and your name's just not getting out there. What's going to happen? Your shop's probably going to suffer, right? Well, it's the same thing now when it comes to your dating profile. Like, you can be the most interesting person out there, you can be the funniest person out there, but if you're not marketing and you're positioning yourself to that way, then the girls are not going to know you exist. The algorithm is going to tank for you, and that's essentially what's going to lead to no matches or no dates. Now we're going to basically break down exactly what to do. That way we can fix that problem. And like I said, in another video, we can actually talk about the C and the E of the framework. Okay, guys, let's get to the good stuff. I do want to say a stat first, though, not to scare you, but to really kind of speak to what I'm about to tell you in the next minute or two. And I said this on my channel before, but on average, and depending on what dating app you're on, there's about 70% guys and about 30% girls. So if it's like Tinder, maybe about 75% guys, give or take. If it's on like Hinge or Bumble, maybe 60, 65. But typically speaking, we'll round up and call it about 70% guys and 30% girls. This doesn't even include height filters. On some apps, a lot of girls can filter out they want guys over 6 feet. So in reality, you're probably battling for about 20 to 25% of girls, like, if that kind of makes sense. So right there, that should scream out to you, don't be boring and generic, right? So step 1 and step A here is going to be, we want to build a profile that speaks to your personality, not your height. And for me, it was super simple. And I showed off basically 2 to 3 main things on my profile. And you can either steal this or you can kind of apply this obviously to exactly to your unique self. So for me, it was very straightforward. I'm a pretty funny, sarcastic guy. I showed that off, and I'll give you examples later on in the video. I'm into fitness, like that's basically my full-time job. So I'm into fitness, and I showed that off. And I'm into sports. So like those 3 things I hammered home on my profile, which may be different than a lot of the guys. Because what I used to do was I used to have like 6 to 8 different pictures showing off so many different personalities on me. And it was just like super boring. Like, no funny lines, this picture of me, maybe watching Netflix or in a suit on or whatever it is. Not to say that's bad, but just way too many different themes. And remember guys, we have to niche down because we're only basically targeting 20-25% of girls, assuming they're using the height filter. So we have to build a profile that speaks to them. And we basically want them to look at our profile and say like, yeah, that's the guy I want. Like, this is the funny guy. This is the fitness guy. I want someone who's into fitness. I want someone who's into sports, or whatever it is, obviously for yourself, like whether it's like arts or whatever you do. If that kind of makes sense. Because I want you to think of it this way when it comes to the niche and what I'm talking about. Like, again, I'll use a fitness analogy right now, but let's say you're looking to lose like 10 to 20 pounds of stubborn fat and you're a guy. Let me ask you something, like, who would you hire? Would you hire the guy that says in their profile with tons of like testimonials that says like basically he helps busy men help, lose 10 to 20 pounds of stubborn fat? Or would you hire like another trainer that says, I do fat loss, strength training, mobility, I'm a kettlebell expert? Who would you probably hire? Probably the guy who specializes in 10 to 20 pounds of that stubborn fat, right? It's exactly the same, guys, when it comes to your dating profile now. You got to attract you got to attract the person based on the profile you create. So be unique with that, because you're way too generic, you're way too boring, you're never going to stand out. That's how girls don't even notice you, and that's how the algorithm's basically going to shut down against you. Step number 2 of this framework right here is going to be use strategic photo placements. And here's exactly what you're going to do, and this is what I did. You're going to have whatever you think is your best picture as your main picture, because most girls, right, like let's say even for yourself, like when you see a girl, you're probably looking at 1 or 2 photos to see if it kind of catches your eye, right? So they're looking at your basically first or second photos. So put the one that you think is best first. And what you essentially do is you want to test it. And it's exactly what I did. So I would leave it there for like a week, and I would kind of take note, like I wouldn't write them down, but I would basically take note of how many likes and matches I was getting based on that first profile pic. And then I would just switch it up. So the next week I'd try another one, and I would just try to see and gather as much data as I can. And then when I kind of found like, okay, when I'm using this picture, I'm getting the most likes compared to, the other ones, that's when you know that you have the best profile pictures and you want to stick with it long term. Now, here's a little bonus tip you can do also. When you do start getting a few matches, just simply ask the girl, like, hey, like what photo did you really like for me? And like, what would you find me most attractive in? Obviously, don't be creepy. Don't be like, hey, babe, like, would you find me sexy? And like, don't be creepy, but just kind of see like what they say. And the more data you can gather, guys, the better it's going to be for you. Because again, you might think that you have the best picture and you put it first, but in reality, some girls might not like that. And maybe your best picture is actually buried like 5th or 6th, because the very first two photos are by far the most important. So the more data you can gather from that, the better it's going to be. And that's again how you're going to separate yourself from the other guys on the dating profiles. Okay, guys, step number 3, and this is so important as well, but we want to craft bold openers and one-liners to get attention. So if you know what I'm talking about, like if you go on those dating profiles, you'll see people have their prompts, their quotes that, is either funny or maybe intriguing or hopefully interesting. This is what we need to do for you. Remember, guys, we got to be bold here. So bold is the key word, and I'll tell you exactly what I did, and then you can either steal this line or even relate it to your own uniqueness. So what I did on my profile, and it was definitely a bit cocky, but it works so well. So if you're funny, like definitely steal this. Basically, my line was, I guarantee I'll make you laugh within the first 60 seconds of meeting me. If not, I'll buy you a drink. So a bit cocky, right? And so many times, like I actually forgot I even had that on my profile. So like girls would kind of message me, again, just message me right away. So that's what we want. Also, that's a video for another day. And they basically said like, your clock starts now. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I just completely forgot that I even had that on my profile, but it was just a good, intriguing way. And when girls see that, it's a good opener, and they also want to know more about me. Because what you don't want, guys, on your profile with your one-liners, your prompts, your quotes is you don't want to be boring, right? But like by now, I think we established you have to stand out because there's way more girls than guys on the dating apps, especially if you're under 5'9", like myself, and assuming you're watching this video. Like, don't be like, hey, Matt here. Nice, looking forward to meeting you, and love sports, love doing this, love walking my dog. It's boring as shit, right? Like, not to offend you, but like there's nothing wrong with it. But again, guys, you gotta be not generic. You gotta be unique, and you gotta say more bold things that's going to capture your attention. And I'll leave you with this in this video, which is very important. Just 1 second. And like I said, in another video, we'll talk about the C and the E of the framework, which all marries together. But when it comes to attract position, I'll leave you with this, and especially the bold openers here. You want the girl, when she sees your profile, you want to leave them with the impression, okay, this guy is interesting. I want to know more about him. It's like the line I put, right? Like, guaranteed I'll make you laugh or I'll buy you a drink. For girls, that's interesting because like girls like humor. They want to know like, hey, this guy can actually make me laugh. So like that's very interesting with them. So with that question I'm leaving you right now, how can you base your profile to be interesting That way they want to know more about you. So you want to kind of tell stuff about you a little bit, but you also want them to ask, like, okay, or even be more intrigued. Like, there's more to this guy. I want to know more about him. If you can do that, guys, you mastered the marketing, and it's going to lead to so many matches. And that's obviously how it's going to lead to more dates, which we'll again break down in another video. But I hope this helped, guys. If you have any questions, like, let me know if you're stuck below. If there's something in particular you're stuck with on the dating apps, I went through like 5-6 months of not getting any matches at all. So I know your pain if you're dealing with it. And I'll tell you basically how I overcame them. So let me know if you're stuck with anything. I got your back. And let's get through this together. I apologize for the choppy editing. I'm just letting it rip right here. And for those of you who were watching my videos, I know it's a long break. I've been super busy. I'm back. I'll try to upload one at least once every 2 weeks for you guys, if not more. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me. And we'll talk to you guys soon.